The town recently met with the City of Phoenix, Daisy Mountain Fire District, the City of Scottsdale, and Rural Metro to discuss the proposal for services in the future for Carefree. At that time, early on in the process, Chief Khan basically told us that their model is based on cost recovery, and they have a large overhead. Their proposal is going to be cost prohibitive to Carefree, so it wasn't mutually beneficial to move ahead with the City of Phoenix, and they felt like the other alternatives with Scottsdale, Daisy Mountain, Rural Metro would be a better fiscal model for the town of Carefree. We moved ahead, obviously, with Scottsdale, Daisy Mountain, Rural Metro, and they provided us their respective proposals. Those proposals are essentially, from a level of service perspective, are summarized in this chart, which is included in the fire service report, which I placed online about 10 days ago. Members of the public can review that report. Attached to that report in the appendix is each proposal from each one of these entities. So you can see essentially what they're proposing and what the exact cost, the market value of the respective contract is. A couple of key things to consider as far as level of service. Both the City of Scottsdale and Daisy Mountain Fire District model is 4 firefighters to an engine. The model with Rural Metro is a little bit different. One of the reasons why it's a little bit different is Rural Metro has or holds the certificate of necessity for emergency medical services for the town. That is issued through the Arizona Department of Health. We don't have any leverage over that. Even if the fire service provider was to change, they would still hold the CON and have the right to serve the town of Carefree through that CON. We can't influence that. That's done at the state level. It's a very highly regulated field. There's no mother jugs and speed within the state of Arizona. They regulate all the fees, regulate how they operate, and that's all done at the state level through the Arizona Department of Health Services. So as a result of Rural Metro holding that CON, that certificate of necessity, the model in Carefree for fire protection services is 5 firefighters that will respond to any call for assistance. 3 on the engine and 2 firefighters in the ambulance that are cross-trained as paramedics. Another important difference is automatic aid and mutual aid. Automatic aid is a regional consortium or a partnership between a lot of municipal fire departments and a few of the fire districts within the metropolitan area. It's essentially a regional fire department. There's no political boundaries. It's one large fire department. There's GPS devices on each piece of equipment within this regional partnership. When a call comes in for assistance, a piece of equipment with the firefighters will be dispatched based upon the proximity and the appropriate equipment. So it's all dispatched through a satellite. What we have with Rural Metro is a mutual aid agreement. And this model has served the town of Carefree very well. We have a fluid mutual aid agreement, which is a reciprocal agreement between the surrounding jurisdictions with Daisy Mountain. So in the need of additional assistance, all the surrounding jurisdictions will respond. And that's reciprocal. So vice versa. We will respond outside of Carefree too. Bottom line, when the call for assistance goes out, nobody cares who's on the side, the name on the side of that door. It's who responds, having that equipment in a timely fashion. The model through that mutual aid agreement has been working and is a valid model. And I think it's a tribute to Rural Metro and the positive communications that they keep with the other fire departments. From a financial perspective, what's the bottom line? Some people are more visual. I have a table here and a little line chart. They both essentially say the same thing. Basically, Scottsdale and Daisy Mountain, the cost of the contract is a lot higher the initial year. That is based upon the startup costs or transitional costs. For example, personal protective equipment, that goes with the firefighters. So Scottsdale will have to purchase, and Daisy Mountain would have to purchase, new additional protective equipment for each and every firefighter if they were to assume service to Carefree. There would be additional costs with hardware and software to the computer equipment inside the fire truck that would add to those costs. So those are some of the associated startup costs. After that initial year, obviously those startup costs aren't there. Daisy Mountain presented a model where their fee from year 2 through 5 would be flat. It would be consistent. So they quoted us approximately $1.6 million to service the town of Carefree. Scottsdale, similar to the city of Phoenix, is a cost recovery model. What their financial department did is give us an estimate. That estimate increases each year, but there's some unknowns there. There might be some additional costs passed on per fiscal year after year 2. We don't know what those costs are. That's going to be determined upon the City of Scottsdale internal budget discussions with their city council. So in future or subsequent years, their city council is going to determine what those potential additional costs will be. So there could be potential decreases or potential increases. But the financial department with the City of Scottsdale thought that this was a good benchmark. That's why on that line chart, there's this shaded area on either side of that hard line, because there could be fluctuations with that price. Below those two lines is Rural Metro's proposal. And their proposal is essentially two proposals. One with the ambulance subsidy and one without the ambulance subsidy. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But the bottom row in that table shows the current Rural Metro contract. If we were to take one of the two options and extend that out with a 4% inflator there. The key here is that 4% in today's world is far too much. One of our negotiation point is let's base that inflator on a rationale, the rationale being cost of labor. The cost of labor being a local indicator, that's the Phoenix Mesa indicator for CPI on labor. And so we based it on that, but there would be a minimum and maximum cap of 1 to 2.5%. So there's a range there, and that's why there's two lines with each one of these proposals, that there could be a fluctuation from that inflator between a minimum of 1% to a maximum of 2%, but no more than 2.5%. Recall right now the inflator is at 4%, so this is significantly less than what we had before under the current contract.